Am I audible to you all? Please let me know if I'm audible to you all. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Ashutosh. I'm audible to everyone, right? Yes. Fine. So good afternoon. So yesterday we have discussed certain set of questions from the UPSC CSE Prelims 2020 paper 1. So today we'll be finishing the second half. We'll be finishing the discussion of entire questions. And from today we will be having an idea about how, after finishing this session, I will give you an idea about how to proceed further. Okay. So many of you, I have come to know that many of you have feeling very low after the examination. Some have doubts whether I will clear or not. So all these things are there. But what I will tell you is, irrespective of you checking your key or not, whatever it is, there are two things to keep it in mind. Number one is that wait for 3 days and then check revised key again. That is point number one. Point number two, you clear or not. The point here is you have to continue preparing for mains, because mains is a circle. Okay, it's a cycle. So many people, what they do, they give their attempts, first attempt, second attempt, third attempt. In their attempts, they keep preparing for prelims only. They don't prepare for mains. The cycle has to be completed. You prepare for prelims and you should prepare for mains, irrespective of you clearing the prelims or not. You should start preparing for the mains. Okay, so you should start preparing for the mains, and then what you have to do is you should should start preparing for the mains, and you should do the answer writing practice. This is number one. And one more thing is that people who have cleared this prelims, who have confidence that you are clearing this prelims, what you have to do is you should start writing practice from now on. It's not like some people think that I will be studying, I will study, I will gain more data, I don't know this, I know. It's not like that. It's about writing. The mains preparation starts with writing practice. The very first day itself, you should start your writing. You should start writing your tests. So every writing mains question answers, when you start writing, only you know where you are lagging in the mains. The data will not be the problem in the mains. For that particular question, you will have data. When you are preparing and you are writing, you will start gaining the data. But when you are not writing and you are just studying in the examination hall, or if you don't have a proper practice, so today is October 6th, right? So we have our mains in the January. So October, November, December, only 3 months we have, the complete 3 months. So if you should start your preparation now, like you should start your writing practice now. Only then in the January you can be confident enough, because 3 hours you have to be writing 250 marks. Clear? You should not leave single question. You should do a justification for all the questions. Only then you can expect a very good mark. So we will talk about mains clearly. Tomorrow I'm going to come up with mains answer writing session related topic. We will do that, and then we will go to the mains related classes. So tomorrow I want every one of you to attend. Number one. Number two, irrespective of your prelims cutoff, you are starting to prepare. Don't think that I'm clearing or I'm not clearing, whatever it is. You are starting to prepare as if the mains is on January. Clear? Fine. So we'll finish this discussion and we'll speak even more. You can ask me about what are all the doubts you have, all these concepts. Fine. Next question. With reference to carbon nanotubes, consider the following statements. Carbon nanotubes. Consider the following statement. Here they are not asking you about carbon or nano or tubes. They are asking the applications. So once when we saw about science and technology based questions, I told you once that sometimes these kind of applications will get the answer as all the above. From this you can also see that carbon nanotube nanotubes can be carriers of drugs and antigens in human bodies. They can be made to artificial blood capillaries for an injured person of human body, very small capillaries. See, we have articles and veins, fine, fine, and we have capillaries. Capillaries are like the end road of blood vessels. So capillaries are very small, and that too when they start reaching, very small organs, they're very fine and thin. For that, carbon nanotubes can be made as artificial blood capillaries, and they can be used as biochemical sensors. Yes, carbon nanotubes are biodegradable. Fine. So here the answer is all the above. It is a most of the science and technology based application questions come like this only. Okay. Yes. So we'll go to the next question. Next question. Spraying. Consider the following activities: spraying pesticides on a crop field, inspecting the craters of active volcanoes. So ignore this. Collecting bread samples from sprouting whales for DNA analysis. At the present level technology, which are the following can be carried out using drones? So I already told you in terms of science and technology, you will get questions related to two concepts. One is from science, where you get questions from basics of science. Technology, you get questions from application. That too, the latest technology which we are using. For that, drones we know very well. Drones are very latest and most used technology that many people are preferring. So drones are now used almost everywhere. For security purposes, for video capturing purposes. Even YouTubers now are using drones for capturing many videos according to their needs. And then we also use it for spraying pesticides, right? Okay. Good afternoon, Ankit. Good afternoon. Spraying pesticides and craters of active volcanoes. Human beings cannot visit, so drones can be used. Collecting breath samples from spouting whales. When we say that, we see that if whale is there in the water, we know that it spouts the water when it comes. It's a mammal. It comes to the surface and breathes. From there, when it is spouting the water outside, the samples can be collected using drones. All the three are possible. It's a very simple and straight question. All the three are possible. Clear? Yes. Next. The experiment will employ a trio of spacecraft triangle that has sides 1 million kilometer long with the laser shining between the craft. The experiment in the question refers to. So here, one thing I can tell you to eliminate is you have lasers. So only this or this should be the answer. And then in current affairs, if you have studied, you can come to the conclusion it is evolved LISA. Okay. Yes. Next. The genetic changes can be introduced in the cells that produce eggs or sperms of a prospective parent. A person's genome can be edited before birth at the early embryonic stage. This is what we call it as gene editing. Fine. Human-induced pluripotent stem cells can be injected into embryo pig, especially for grafting technologies. For grafting, for organ transplantations and grafting, this kind of pluripotent stem cells into the embryo of pig are done. So that what happens, they develop the particular organ we need to graft, and that organ can be placed in the patient's body. That is done. The first statement, many people could have got confused. Genetic changes can be introduced in the cells that produce eggs or sperms of a prospective parent. So here in this statement, it's a science and technology related concept. Here I'll tell you one thing. UPSC, when it is asking you like, is this possible? They don't expect you to be very much, this is a general statement, and either it should be in the current affairs or they are testing you whether you know or not. In terms of science as of now, we are so much advanced and anything is possible. So this is also possible. Clear? So in terms of science and technology, certain questions, even though we don't know the data, we should be understanding the UPSC's point of view here and then answer these questions. Okay, that's what I'm telling you. Yesterday also I told you, in these kind of questions, you should not overthink and you have to go for answering these questions. Because UPSC does not expect you to be an expert in all the fields. They Pneumococcal Conjugate Vaccines in India. Fine. So what is vaccines? Vaccines are generally the organisms which cause that particular disease but are neutralized. That is, either they are killed or mostly the disease causing capability will be removed or neutralized. This is what is a vaccine, which is nothing but a vaccine is nothing but an antigen, foreign antigen. It's a foreign body which goes into the human body. So whenever a vaccine is given, you cannot say that you will not have side effects or no allergic reactions. The vaccines can have side effects or allergic reactions to few people. Okay, so this no side effects, no allergic reactions cannot be come to a conclusion to any kind of vaccine. This statement is the key here. Okay, even though you don't know about pneumococcal conjugate vaccines in India, you know these vaccines are effective against pneumonia, meningitis, and sepsis. And then dependence on antibiotic that are not effective against drug-resistant bacteria can be reduced. These two statements are true. Even though you don't know these two statements, this is a very common statement which you should all understand that any vaccine will have side effect or allergic reactions. Not every human body will accept it. Some human body whose immune system is very strong will definitely show allergic reactions. Number one. Number two, every time when we intake vaccine, or it can be a oral vaccine or nasal vaccine or through injection, whatever it can be. Okay. So whatever it can be, the vaccination will show allergic reaction. At least we will get a fever. Fever is nothing but the reaction that our immune system is fighting against a foreign body. That is fever. That is general fever. When you have fever, it means your immune system is fighting something, some foreign body in your human body. So this third statement cannot be right. Fine. So I am eliminating the third statement and I'm coming to the conclusion 1 and 2 only. Okay. Definitely this is also right because once you start giving vaccine, your body will develop immunity. So we do not depend much on antibiotics. One more thing, keep it in mind, the difference between why antibiotics are not used in corona is that antibiotics work on bacteria, not on virus. Keep that in mind, very important. Okay, this will help you in the mains also. Next, public key infrastructure, current affairs, digital security infrastructure. As of now, I told you already, as of now, the need for time, food security, healthcare, telecommunication, transport, all are there. But the need for time now is digital security infrastructure. The internet security, the privacy is very much questioned in many countries, not just in our country, in many countries. So as of now, the public key infrastructure is digital security infrastructure. Okay. For this question, you need not think much. It's what is the need for time? Why UPSC will ask this? Food security, we have National Food Policy very long back. Healthcare and education also, we have Right to Education Act, and then we have National Nutrition Mission, and then we have Healthcare Mission. All these things. National Health Mission, we have NHM. Telecommunication and transportation infrastructure has been there for a very long time. But now, what is the need for time? Why this digital security infrastructure is here? Then that is the answer. Fine. Next. Which are the following? This is a very basic question. This is a very basic, very basic questions from science. That's what I'm always telling you. In science and technology, the S part will always have the very basic. The science, they expect you to know the very basic. See here. Plant cells have cellulose walls while animal cells do not have. That is what, in schools, I remember us studying the difference between plant cell and animal cell is one of the important questions. In that, we could have seen all these things. Cellulose wall, cell wall will be present in the plants. Cell membrane will be present in the animals. First statement is right. Plant cells do not have, see, plasma membrane is a membrane which covers cell membrane, is also called as plasma membrane sometimes. Okay, so plasma membrane is nothing but which has plasma inside, and the organs. You have the nucleus here, and then you have mitochondria here. The outer cell wall. In animal cell, how it will be is like this will be the animal cell. Mostly hexagon structure. This will be like the animal cell. So and then you have a cell wall, and then you have a cell membrane inside. then you have the cell organelles, everything. This is called as plasma membrane. This present both in plant cells and animal cell. It is a basic question, basic concept. This statement is wrong. Mature plant cells have one large vacuole. Yes, in plant cell we'll be drawing one large vacuole. In animal cell we'll be drawing small vacuoles. Vacuoles are nothing but a bag-like structure in which the the residue, water, sap, plant sap, everything is stored. Okay, so that is what is the third statement. Answer is 1 and 3 only. If you eliminate the second statement, you get the answer. Second statement is a key statement that everybody should note here. Okay, next. Which of the following are reasons or the factors to exposure to benzene pollution? All the above. Varnish, polyurethane, automobile exhaust. 1, 3, 1, 4 and 5. Along with that you have wood burning. Definitely we have wood burning. Okay, so everything has benzene pollution. The varnish, the smell you get in the varnish itself is because of the benzene only. Okay, so all these things are giving us exposure to the benzene pollution. Okay, yes. If another global, see this question, if another global financial crisis happens in the near future, which are the following action policies are most likely to give some immunity to India? Opening up to more foreign banks will make us vulnerable, not immune. And then, in that, if you are eliminating the second statement, you eliminate two options, one only, three only. Maintaining full capital account convertibility. See this full capital account convertibility is an extreme statement, which is not possible. But not depending on short-term foreign borrowings. Instead of depending on short-term foreign borrowings, we should start going for more sustainable form of resources. That is what they are mentioning. The answer is one only. Okay. See, economics, I'm telling you again, guys. I am seeing many people ignoring economics. You are preparing now, or you have given your attempt, or you're writing your mains, whatever, whichever stage you can stand, please keep one thing in mind. Economics is one important subject, and you get basic and application kind of questions only in economics. If you understand economics, you can almost attend 80% of questions from economics, because either they ask straight from current affairs or they ask straight from basics. All the questions here are like that only. Okay, so don't worry about it. If you withdraw 1 lakh or whatever cash it is in from demand deposit account at your bank, the immediate effect on aggregate money supply in the economy will be unchanged, because in terms of demand deposit account, this will already be in circulation. So when the money is taken outside also, it won't get changed. Usually we think that when there is a money in bank, and then when the money is taken outside the bank, it will start coming as the money supply. But in the demand deposit account, it won't be like that. It is already shown. It is already considered as the one which is in circulation. So there won't be any changes when we are withdrawing the cash from our demand deposit account. Okay. Next. With reference to cultural history of India, paramitas is perfections whose attainment led to bodhisattva path. This is all like straight to straight fact-based questions. Unless you are studying it, mostly these kind of questions come from NCRTs. So where can you refer these kind of questions? NCRTs. So in terms of history, am I not audible to you guys? Reference to cultural history of India, paramitas. 1 second, I will check the audio. Am I audible to you all now? Am I not audible to you guys? 1 second, guys. Am I audible clearly now? Yes. Am I audible clear now? Yes. Yes. Cool. Fine. Okay. Fine. Let's continue. Okay. Next question. So these kind of questions come from the current affairs. So sorry, you these kind of questions you can take it from the NCRTs. So in terms of history, when you ask me what is the source, ma'am, the major source you should refer is NCRT definitely. Whatever book you are referring to, if you are not referring to NCRT, it will be really really tough. Clear? Yes. Next, in the context in the context of Indian history, the Rakhmabai case of 1884 revolved around. It's like all the above. I'll tell you what is this related to. What is this case related to? So yes. So Rakhmabai was an Indian physician. So this there was a legal case involving her marriage as a child bride. So here this is involving all these three options. She's a physician, she's a doctor. So at that time there was a case, this Rakhmabai case of 1884 was related to age of consent. She was married as a child bride and so age of consent concept will come here, and it also was related to her marriage, her conjugal rights, all these things. So the answer is 1, 2 and 3. So this kind of questions are very rare. So unless and until you have it in the current affairs, this is not directly related to. Okay. Am I audible now? Am I audible now clearly? Yes. Now is it fine? Now is it fine, guys? Tell me if it is fine now, so that we can continue. Now is it clear? These kind of questions from current affairs. Sorry. Now is it clear, guys? Please let me know is it clear now or not, so that I can continue. shaky? Okay. Now, is it clear and audible? I think this will be clear now. Yes? No, it's working. I think now it will be audible. Yes, fine. Okay, so there was some change needed in the settings. Okay, yes. See, why this question came actually was this is the 153rd year of the birth anniversary of Rakhmabai. That is why this question came in UPSC. Okay, the reason, that's what I'm telling you. These kind of questions will definitely come in UPSC because of the current affairs. Nothing different. Okay, these kind of questions will come in UPSC because of the current affairs. So this year, 153rd year of her birth. Okay, so that is why this question has come in the UPSC. So whenever you study about these kind of, at least one question comes from birth anniversary, or or question comes from any incident. So generally questions like Jallianwala Bagh massacre or some important incidents also come in the UPSC question based on some that memorial day this year or kind of questions. Fine. So here in this question you are asking me what was the answer here. So here age of consent act was passed based on her life only, based on her case only. And then uh, they also supported related to the education, okay, related to the education, further education, and became a doctor. So what happened was, besides, two more evil practices like child marriage and enforced widowhood also came into the limelight. So directly related to this case was about age of consent and restriction of conjugal rights. But since you are asking revolved around, it is also related to women's right to gain education. Okay, here they are not asking like directly about or something. The case is about two questions. Okay, fine. See guys, I'm telling you, answers will, as of now, we are taking the key based on the informations we receive. Answers can be fluctuating. I'm telling you, there will be plus or minus 5 marks in your key. Fine. So that is what I'm telling you. No, as of now, it's like, just 2 days after the exam. Perfect key is not available. Even though we get the perfect key, we should wait for the UPSC examination, UPSC key. It's not that you get the key as of now with the sources. It can be any kind of source, but please wait for the UPSC also. And one or two questions can be having the fluctuations, which is the right answer, which is not right answer, some kind of thing. But very rarely it happens, and plus or minus 5 marks. Here, what I'm telling you is, here why this concept of B or D. Okay, the question is B or D. Why this kind of concept comes is that the case is related to age of consent only. Based on that, we are coming to the conclusion like restitution of conjugal rights. So if restitution of conjugal rights, why not women's right to gain education also? One side they are saying that it is directly linked to age of consent and restriction of conjugal rights only. For these kind of questions, also in two more questions I have said that, one is that right to equality and right to constitutional remedies. In these kind of questions, we have to wait for UPSC. We have to see what UPSC is predicting, or what UPSC is thinking as the right answer. Fine. So don't worry, your answer will have a fluctuation of this, this plus or minus 5. So when you are getting your key now, keep this in mind. So this is the concept. So you will get a cutoff mark. Okay, so from that cutoff mark you should keep this in mind, plus or minus 5. Okay, next question. Indigo cultivation in India declined by the beginning of 20th century because of its unprofitability in the world. What happened was they started inventing synthetic dyes. Okay, so synthetic dyes, what happened? They were more profitable compared to the indigo dyes. So it became unprofitable in the world market. So what happened was the indigo planters did not plant it by willingness. They were forcefully made to plant by the British people. But since what happened, since this new invention came in the market, the people who have planted indigo faced two issues. Number one, their product had very less value in the market. Number two, because of intensive cultivation of indigo, the land started losing its fertility. These are the two impacts of indigo cultivation in our country. So here they are asking beginning of 20th century, because its unprofitability in the world market has come due to the new inventions. Okay, this is a very straight answer. It's not like you should think and all. It is a very basic concept. That is the reason what happened was during the Champaran Satyagraha, we will see why the indigo cultivation declined. Okay, next. Here, why the other statement cannot come as the answer is peasant resistance to oppressive conduct of planters or national leaders' opposition to cultivation of indigo or government control over planters. You know, government control over planters will not come because they only wanted the planters to cultivate. That is not the answer. Peasant resistance to oppressive conduct of planters or national leaders' opposition did not actually have that much impact on the indigo cultivation. Indigo cultivation kept moving on due to the demand and also the British forces. But the decline was actually because of the invention of synthetic dyes. Okay, next. Wellesley established the Fort William College at Calcutta because he wanted to train the British civilians for administrative purposes in India. Here also he was asked. Here also there is a two kinds of fluctuations here. Some say B is the answer, but actually Wellesley is not a person. Generally, if you analyze whatever Wellesley has done, you can see one thing, that he is not someone who will take care of oriental learning, or he's not someone who does very good thing to Indian people. So here he had a selfish motive that he wanted to train British civilians for the administrative purposes in India. That's why he constructed this established this Fort William College at Calcutta. Okay, next. With reference to the history of India, Ulgulan or the Great Tumult is the description of which of the following event? Birsa Munda revolt of 1899 and 1900. It's a fact. Okay, so this is a fact related to this revolution. So every time when you get a question related to revolts, please study clearly about the revolts. Okay, very famous revolts. With reference to scholars, litterateurs of ancient India, consider the following statement. Panini is associated with Pushyamitra Sunga, Amarasimha is associated with Harshavardhana, Kalidasa is associated with Chandragupta too. So this is also again fact. I already told you one thing. Chronology and contemporary. These are very important. In terms of history, I will tell you one thing. Unless you are creating your own notes. So we'll do one thing. One day I will tell you one class I will schedule to tell you what kind of notes you have to prepare for history. Because this year I have I have got feedback from many people saying that history was very tough. History was unexpected. It is unpredictable kind of questions. These kind of questions are how can we answer? We cannot analyze. Actually, history questions. If you want to attend, you should need a previous strategy or previous readiness towards generating your notes. Okay. So here, what you have to do is, whenever you are studying about any kingdom, you should immediately write about the literature part, the art and culture part also within that particular kingdom itself. In NCRT, they might be giving, or you can search it in the internet. You have so many sources. Here, the problem is not the sources. You have so many sources. What you're going to do is, so you're writing about a kingdom, Shunga dynasty, you're writing about Shunga dynasty. So you have to write two things about Shunga dynasty. Number one, about the chronology. In the chronology itself, you are going to write about who came first, who found everything, and then under chronology you are going to write about the administration. Okay, that can be any kind of administration, revenue administration and land administration, both. Political, revenue, land comes under revenue, political administration and revenue administration. Number 2 should be art and culture. Please do not separate art and culture from history. History and art and culture are interlinked. If you don't know history, chronology, you cannot answer art and culture. If you don't know the art and culture, in many places the chronology part will get affected. So here the trick is note making, not memorizing the data. Clear? You are getting it? So taking the notes and comparing only will help you. Here the answer is Kalidasa is associated with Chandragupta too. Is the right answer. Clear? Next. See this pronuclear transfer. 3-parent baby method. Simply to say 3-parent baby method. What is this 3-parent baby method? I'll tell you. See what happens, mitochondria in the human cell, in the animal cell or in cell in general, the DNA is present in 2 places. So number 1, it is present in the nucleus. Number 2, it is present in the mitochondria. Fine. So sometimes what happens, the DNA in the mitochondria might have some defects. So there are certain diseases which are caused due to mitochondrial DNA. Clear? So from this what we have to understand is usually this kind of mitochondrial disease come from mother only. Why? I will tell you. So we have sperm and ovum, right? So ovum is a proper cell. Sperm is also a cell. So what is the function of sperm is? It swims into the uterus of the female and go and fuses with ovum and pores in the DNA material. Okay. So now what happens? The ovum is developed into a zygote. Here, whose mitochondrial DNA it is having? It is having the mother's mitochondrial DNA. Fine. So to avoid this kind of diseases from the mitochondria, what they are doing is they are transferring this nucleus, pronuclear. This is a pronuclear. It's the nucleus of a zygote. So they are transferring it into another donor's ovum, whose DNA does not have that same defect. So now this baby's DNA, this is mother 1, this is father, this is mother 2, since we are taking from donor's DNA. So what they are doing is in the mother's 2 cell they are transferring the nucleus of mother 1. So here how much parents we needed? 1 father, 2 mother. Even though these two are the biological, sorry, 1 second. Even though these two are the biological parents, the baby will resemble only their DNA. If you take the DNA test of this baby, it will resemble these two people only. But here we are going for another parent, we are transferring the nucleus of the zygote into another ovum to avoid the mitochondrial disease. Fine, this is why we call it as 3-parent baby method, or this pronuclear transfer method. It's a basic science and technology and current affair. It has been very famous, recently only discovered, like 5 or 6 years back only discovered, and has been very famous now. This is the answer. Fine. Fertilization of egg into in vitro donor sperm is different. This is IVF, or we call it as test tube method. That's different. Okay. Genetic modification of sperm producing cells is a different concept. We are modifying the sperm producing cells. Okay, that is different. Development of stem cells into functional embryos, tissue culture, stem cell culture. So here we are not transferring any nucleus. Here you have to transfer nucleus. Is that here? Do you understand why we call it as pronuclear transfer? Yes, this is the answer. Fine. So certain kind of science based, application based, genetic based questions, you should understand the other name. There will be a common name like three parent baby method or something like that. Cloning, three parent baby method. Last year we got a question related to somatic cell nuclear transfer technology. That is nothing but simply cloning. So they are asking you questions from the basic concept, basic technology you know, but with the technical name. So when you are studying about these kind of new technology, life-saving technology, life-saving science and technology concept, start learning about the other names also. They will simply ask the other name and ask what is this. Fine. It is also one important question you should be studying whenever you are preparing for the science and technology based questions. Next. With the present state of development of artificial intelligence can effectively do which of the following? Actually, it's all the above. We are having it, electricity consumption. So what happens if you are installing an artificial intelligence in industry? It will start assessing the usage, electricity consumption everywhere, and will come up with a solution to reduce the electricity consumption. Creating meaningful short stories and songs. Just go to your Alexa, or go to your Google Assistant or Siri. Go and ask them to sing a song, new songs, write a song. They will do. Disease diagnosis. AI is used for disease diagnosis. Text to speech conversion. Nowadays we can see many apps which are actually converting the text into speech. We know that speech into text, we have it in the Google keyboard itself. But this text to speech conversion is also done by the artificial intelligence. And then wireless transmission of electrical energy. So that is what I'm telling you. I'm not telling you all the answers, all the questions from science and technology application based will be all the above. But most of the questions are all the above and we can see it. Okay. If you are going to the third round of questions that you have to attend more questions and you don't know what to do, there you can think about this. It's not like first level itself we are going to a science and technology based question. That day we discussed in the class that most of the science and technology question will be all the above. No, don't do that. Okay. If you have to take a risk, finally you have to write some questions. When you're writing just 70 questions, you're attempting only 140 marks instead of 100 marks. Already you have lost 60 marks. So in this, even if 10 questions are wrong, you are going to lose so much marks. So that is why I'm telling you, attempt minimum of 75 till 90 is the key. Okay, so you should attempt these many questions. So that time when you haven't attempted minimum of 75 or 80, you should go to these kind of questions where you can take these kind of risk. Okay, UPSC, I'm telling you guys, I'm repeatedly telling you, it's not a knowledge testing examination. Knowledge or data, it's not a data testing. It's, to be precise, it's not a data or memory testing examination, because data can be obtained from anywhere nowadays. But how you are using the data, how you are analyzing the patterns, how you are coming up with the solution, how you are using your resources is what matters. So these kind of questions are asked for that also. And one more thing I already told you in the discussion, previous discussion, artificial intelligence is the most used technology now. Nowadays we are surrounded by artificial intelligence. Fine? Yes. Next. Visible light. See, this is very, very simple. Visible light communication. You should keep this visible light in mind. Keep visible light in mind. So what is this? They are using light as the medium of communication. Here, it uses the electromagnetic spectrum of wavelengths 375 to 780 nanometers. Here, many people will get confused whether the statement is right or wrong. Number one, 3750 to 7800, 10 power minus 10 meter. Is this familiar? Or Armstrong? Is this familiar? Yes. So this we know, this we don't know. Usually we are familiar for this four digit numbers. We are not familiar for this terms. That is why they have just confused you. Very simple. If you know this, you know that first statement is right. Second is, it is known as a long range optical wireless communication. What does optical means? Light, visible light. Second statement is right. That's why I'm telling you, always the words will give you answer. Analysis of words is important. Long range optical wireless communication, visible light, optical is light, right? It can transmit large amount of data faster than Bluetooth. Okay, so here, okay, so yes, this we will keep it in an optical is right, but it is known as long range wireless communication. For long range, we use radio waves and uh, microwaves, because they are having their wavelength in terms of 10 power minus 2 or 10 power 1 kind of range. But here we can see 10 power minus 10, which means the wavelength is very short. When the wavelength is very short, what happens? The range, the distance it can cover will be very less. So this is VLC is known as a short range optical wireless communication. Now they are deciding this visible light communication as an alternative for Wi-Fi we use. So what happens in Wi-Fi is that Wi-Fi can penetrate the difference between Wi-Fi and visible light communication is that Wi-Fi can penetrate through walls, but visible light cannot penetrate through walls. But the speed will be very high. See this, it can actually transfer data faster than the Bluetooth, because we know the speed of light, 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. It's a very fast, it is a very high speed. So when we can travel in speed of light, it is also said that we can even time travel. So we should actually cross the speed of light. All these things are there. We have crossed the speed of sound, but we haven't crossed the speed of light. So here it can move the data, I mean it can transfer data in a faster rate because we know the speed of light. But here the long range optical wireless, why we cannot call it as long range optical wireless communication is the wavelength is in the range of 10 power minus 10. Nanometer is like very small. Okay, in that situation, using this will be very tough. And it has no electromagnetic interference, true, because light is not bent using electromagnetic waves. Fine. So the answer is correct. 1, 3 and 4 only. Why 2 will not come as the answer? I told you. We cannot call it as long range because here they have given the wavelength is in terms of nanometers. Why radio waves and microwaves are mostly radio waves are used for long distance transmission is the wavelength, the highest of the wavelength in the electromagnetic wave is radio waves. Fine? Yes. Next. See, blockchain technology. Here I'll tell you how to decode this. We know about blockchain technology. See this application, see this question. Here there are two kinds of concepts given. There's a public ledger that everyone can inspect, but with no single user control, true. So what will happen is that in blockchain technology, it will be like a ledger, like many data will be present, everybody can see it, and we have to decode the code inside that, and we get the information we require. That is how basically it works. The structure and design of blockchain is such that all data in are about cryptocurrency only. See, blockchain technology has been used in various various applications. Cryptocurrency is one of the application. If you have studied about blockchain technology, you could have understood. Blockchain technology is used in many places. Cryptocurrency is just one. Bitcoins, what we call it as Bitcoin is a type of cryptocurrency. It is just one application of blockchain technology. You can eliminate the second option readily. An application that depend on basic features. Again, I'm telling you here there is again a confusion that basic features of blockchain can be developed without anybody's permission. So this is again a concept of confusion. It can be 1 only or 1 and 3 only. Okay, here we are choosing 1 and 3 only because they are talking about the basic features. They are not talking about any application based on blockchain. They are talking about the basic features of blockchain, which means something very harmless. Maybe can be developed without anybody's permission, like how we are developing basic apps now. When we are developing basic apps, we need not get permission. But when we are developing some more important apps which are threat to national security, we should get permission. But here also the same thing. You are using an application with basic structure, maybe we need not need anybody's permission. But for this question, we should wait for UPSC key. Okay, next. This one, history of India, Aurang, Baniyan and Mirasdar. So in this question, what is the answer is that, fine. So Baniyan is Indian agent of English East India Company, and then fine. So Aurang is Baniyan is Indian agent. Mirasidar is usually, we can also call it like Zamindar. How Zamindar is like, a revenue payer, designated revenue payer to the state. The same way Mirasidar is also, can equate Mirasidar with Zamindar. So 3 will definitely come. The answer is 2 and 3 only. Okay. Yes. Next. See, Aurang is a term for warehouse. Aurang is a term used for, mentioning warehouses. Fine. So this is what is the one you have to know. Aurang is the name given for the warehouse. Okay. It's not in charge of treasury of state. It's a Persian term. With reference to religious history of India, consider the following statement. Okay. Stavaravadins belong to Mahayana Buddhism. Lokatra, see, I told you already, sect. When you start, at least one question comes from Buddhism or Jainism, sometimes Buddhism and Jainism. So when you get questions from Buddhism and Jainism, what happened is that the questions from sect, last year also we got questions related to this. Fine. So this is very important. Sthaviravadin and Lokatravadin. Fine. Yes. So what happens is that so I will also share in the Telegram channel about 18 schools of Buddhism, so that it will help you, much more in terms of understanding about these 18 schools of Buddhism. Okay, fine. So this Stavira Vadins or Stavira Nikaya is one of the oldest British school. They split from Sangamikas. Okay, Mahashangikas, not Mahayana Buddhism. So Mahashangikas, they have split from Mahashangikas. Lokatravadin sect was an offshoot of Mahasangika sect Buddhism, and the deification of Buddha by Mahasangikas fostered by the Mahayana Buddhism. So both these are right. Which of the following statements correctly explains the impact of industrial revolution during the first half of 19th century? Keep one thing in mind. When the industrial revolution came, what they did, they ruined the Indian handicrafts. So how did they ruin the Indian handicrafts? Two things they did. Number one, they increased the taxes on Indian handicrafts. Number two, what they did, they decreased or they reduced the taxation or import tax on finished goods from British. Okay. See, this year we got questions related to industrial revolution. Okay, so keep that in mind. Every year we get questions related to some important concept. So this is the thing. Machines were introduced. See, they are asking about the impact of industrial revolution of India. Machines were introduced in the Indian textile industry in large numbers. Railway lines were laid. Heavy duties were imposed on the British manufacturer. Obviously, the fourth statement will be wrong. Will the British government impose more import duty on British manufacturer? No. That is what I tell you. Second point I told you, how did they impact the Indian handicrafters? First, they increased the taxes of Indian handicrafts, and they decreased the import duty or heavy duties of the finished goods. So what happened in the market? The price of handicrafts were very high, and the price of British goods were very low. So obviously people will go for affordable goods only. So what happened? The demand for handicrafts reduced and the Indian handicrafts started getting ruined. Okay, so there's a basic thing you should know and you can write the answer here. Consider following events in the history. Okay, rise of Pratiharas under King Bhoja, and then establishment of Pallava power under Mahendra Varma, establishment of Chola power by Parantaka, Pala dynasty by Gopala. This is all fact. Okay, so go and read about the years. That is what I'm telling you. How to prepare the notes in the history. The first option is that what we do is we study the data which are important first, and then some dynasties which are considered to be not that important second. But what I'm telling you is you create a chart. Even before the examination, I told you in one class that create a chart and write the chronological order by yourself. Search for the data and write the chronological order by yourself. You can get it in the internet also, but you have to write it handwritten. You can use any kind of digital data now, but handwritten data is what is very important. Clear? You write it. So what came first? What came second? So what you have to do is first Pallava power came, and then came this Pala dynasty found by Gopala, and then the rise of Pratiharas under King Bhoja came, and then establishment of Chola power by Parantaka. So this kind of thing is like you have to write the chronological order by yourself. Okay, then you can know the answer for these kind of question. Chronology is very, very, very important. Okay, this is very basic things. This is post Harsha period. It was a innovation in the Harsha period. So Hundi is a bill of exchange. Okay, that is a basic thing. It's a question, straight question. So here Desher Kathaf written by Sakharam Ganesh Deuskar during the freedom struggle, consider the following statement. See here, it is warned against the colonial state hypnotic conquest of the mind. It inspired the performance of Swadeshi street plays and folk songs. So first two statements are right. The use of Desh by Deuskar was in specific context of the region of Bengal. Is no, it's not like that. In Desh, he called it as nation, not Bengal alone. Okay, so this is a thing. So these kind of question also should have come from current affairs only. Okay, so I told you already, I'm dividing modern India into three parts. First is advent of Europeans till 1857 revolt. Then 1857 to advent of Gandhi 1915. And then Gandhi will come inside 1915 to 1947. So in this advent of European to 1857, you get questions related to um, viceroys, questions related to governor generals, and then questions related to administration, questions related to war. Okay, this 1857 to 1915, you get many questions related to individuals. You get other questions also from you get questions related to administration, viceroys, you get questions related to viceroys, but mostly the individuals based questions come from this only, because this is the place where the Indian nationalist movement arose. The Indian nationalist movement, we should study about the nationalist leaders. So most of the questions related to individuals come from this 1857 to 1915 part only. So from 1915 to 1947, you get questions related to Gandhiji, and then whatever the incidents happened, non-cooperation movement, civil disobedience movement, we get questions related to civil disobedience also. Civil disobedience movement, and then you get questions related to what are all the important events that have happened. Okay, any event, all these Jallianwala Bagh massacre, first table conference, second round table, third round table, Gandhi Irwin Pact, Pune Pact, all kind of events are also are questions from these part. But mostly if you see individuals, mostly, it's not like always, but mostly the questions from individuals come from this part only. And that too, here what they ask is they ask about them, their publishing, their books. Okay, so all these kind of questions come again and again. Please be very careful in this area. This area mostly people ignore, but every year you get minimum of 2 questions from this part alone. Okay, yes. Don't worry, you get information in spectrum, you get information from the NCRTs. NCRT is a major source for history. You get information from there, but don't avoid this part. Keep that in mind. Gandhi Irwin Pact included which of the following? Okay. So Gandhi Irwin Pact, many of us know Gandhi Irwin Pact, but are we aware of Gandhi Irwin Pact? What is happening? Yes. So invitation here, the question is, last point we know for sure. Gandhiji demanded one thing, that whoever have been arrested but who did not involve in violence should be released, because at that time people asked Gandhiji to release Bhagat Singh also, but Gandhiji said that my our ideology is non-violence, so I can only ask for people who have been arrested and who followed non-violence. The fourth statement is perfectly right. So you have only three options which is having fourth statement. And then coming to this, invitation to Congress to participate in the Roundtable Conference did take place, because in 1931, after the Gandhi-Irwin Pact only, Gandhiji participated in only one Roundtable Conference, which is Second Roundtable Conference. That also he came outside. He was not satisfied because people started asking for their individual needs and their party's needs, not for nation's need. So Gandhiji was not satisfied with the second roundtable conference. The first statement is right. So if you know that 1 and 4 should definitely come, you can come to the conclusion 1, 2 and 4 only. Fine. See, whenever you study about the datas, whenever you study about some year or something, you should know the background story, what happened. The question will not come from this Gandhi Irwin Pact, when was it signed? That kind of question they won't be asking. They will be asking questions based on the background data, why that has been signed, what was the content in that particular pact signed, or what was the impact of that particular pact. These kind of questions only will come in UPSC, not the questions related to the year or the concept. Okay, you can see here every question, chronology based question also, they did not ask you the year. You need not memorize the year. That is why here I do not give you the year. You need the chronology, write it back to back. Which happened first, which happened second. That is what you should know here. They're not asking you the year. Very rarely, it is very rare they ask you the number. Okay, but what you have to know is what happened after what. Okay, see here, Vittal Vidwanshak, the first monthly journal to have the untouchable people as its target audience, was published by. See this question, whenever you see the term untouchable, definitely you will think about these three people only. Okay, I already told you about the psychology of UPSC. Many people would have gone to Bhimarao Ramji Ambedkar or Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. But Jyotiba Phule we know very well. Not untouchables alone, she worked for the education of girl children. Okay, but she was from a community which was considered to be untouchable. That is it. But these two people definitely worked for untouchables. We know that Harijan, Gandhiji called them as Harijan, and Bhimarao Ramji Ambedkar, and especially now we know very well the famous serial is also taking place, going on now. So they have mentioned these two options here just to confuse you, but actually it is Gopal Baba Vangar. Okay, so please be very careful, because you cannot study all the you cannot study all the publications, you cannot study all the newspapers, magazines, but please be very careful in answering these kind of questions. These kind of questions, if you don't know, please do not answer. I will recommend you from history, sometimes fact based questions can be eliminated. I mean, don't answer, because these kind of questions might result in disaster. Okay, yes. Kulya Vapa and Drona Vapa, it's a measurement of land. So it's a basic question. Okay, so it's a question meaning based question. Who among the following rulers advised his subjects through his inscription? Ashoka. It's a very important and very famous inscription. See, he is saying that whoever is praising this is very true even till today. Even till today, this is very relevant. Keep this in mind. You can use it in ethics or essay, since we are going to prepare for mains. You can use it in ethics, essay, or your optional also, whichever optional you belong to, based on whatever you want to, what you have to write. Whoever praises his religious sect or blames other sect. Now we know very well that communalism is present in our country. Yes, other sect, out of excessive devotion to his own sect, with the view of glorifying his own sect, he rather injures his own sect severely. That's the thing. Sometimes I'm telling you, because of the people who are like this, who are glorifying their own sect by by blaming the others, or by hurting the other sect, is making people question God. That is what I'll tell you. Because when we see someone who is glorifying their own, whatever it can be, a religion, it can be community, caste, sect, anything, any identification they think is theirs, is actually questioning God in minds of many people who got suffered from these kind of incidents. This is a very needed one, very beautiful question it has been asked, is a very needed one. Okay, next. Steel slag can be the material for which of the following? See this question. Construction of road, improvement of agricultural soil, production of cement. Actually, all the above. Okay, steel slag. Slag is the residue. Okay, so residue of steel industries will have very high, very high nutrients. So that can be used as a construction for base of road or improvement of agricultural soil or production of cement. Okay, next. Which of the following, see, musk deer in its natural habitat? So here the answer is Ascot Wildlife Sanctuary. It's in Rajasthan. Gangotri will be in this Uttarakhand and Himachal place. Okay, northern part of India. So the answer is 1 and 2 only. So this kind of musk deer or famous animals, you should know their natural habitat. This natural habitat question alone, 3 questions we got. One is about this animal musk deer, and then Barasinga. Okay, so these kind of questions are coming again. Conservation is very important in our country, especially now. We are doing better. Okay, we are now, I won't tell you we are doing the best or well. We are doing really better compared to many countries, and now the importance on environment has been increasing. Fine. So in that concept, these kind of questions, musk deer we know very well is hunted for the musk. Okay, so it is a they are using the musk for perfume preparation. So it has been hunted for a very long time. So that is why this question has come. In rural road construction, see this question: to reduce the carbon footprint and to ensure environmental sustainability, what should be done? See, cold mix asphalt technology, hot mix asphalt technology. So these two are one thing you should note down. Next is Portland cement. Portland cement is a normal cement we use. Obviously, Portland cement if can be used, why this question itself is coming? Portland cement if it can be used, everybody will be using, but it will not reduce the carbon footprint, it will increase. So I'm eliminating the fourth option, I'm getting 1, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 5 only. Here 1, 2 and 3, sorry, I'm eliminating the fifth option, so I get these two, right? First option and the second option is what I'm getting. So in this first and second option, see, I will tell you one concept. See, 2 and 4 cannot exist because these are opposites. So either one of these should be the correct answer. So 2 and 4, if they are existing together, you can readily eliminate that option and you can get the answer. Clear? How did I eliminate? I did 2 methods to eliminate. One is Portland cement. I know very well is the normal method. It's a conventional system we are using. Definitely environmental sustainability and reducing the carbon footprint. Not all conventional methods will do, and also we know the impacts of Portland cement. So that will not come. So I'm eliminating the fifth option. So if I'm eliminating the fifth option, I'm eliminating 2 options. So one more thing I'm noting down is cold mixed asphalt technology, hot mixed asphalt technology. So cold mixed as hot mixed asphalt technology will release some gases which will have carbon footprint. And for hot mix, we need fuel also. So there are so many implications. But one basic thing is cold mix and hot mix are completely opposite. So these two cannot exist in the same answer. So if you're eliminating this, you are getting the answer. The elimination method basically will work like this here. Okay, next. Coal ash contains arsenic, lead and mercury. Very true. Coal ash, so when you're burning coal and the residue is called as coal ash, it will contain heavy metals, very true, and it will also release sulfur dioxide and oxides of nitrogen. Especially, what is the outlet of coal fire power plants is sulfur dioxide, oxides of nitrogen, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide. These are the major effluents, major gases which are released, pollution causing gases released from coal fire power plant. Second statement is true. So first and second statement, if you know very well, high ash content is observed in Indian coal. See this statement, they are not telling you the highest ash content. High ash content is a very general statement. Yes or no? It's a very general statement. It's not an extreme statement. Possibilities are very high for this statement. This statement, many people thought that it might be wrong, and they completely misunderstood the question. Actually, high ash content is observed in Indian coal is true. It's a general statement. You need not eliminate this. You can go straight away to the answer. Okay. Use of biochar in farming. Biochar, I told you already in the yesterday's class. See, UPSC, you will get answers from different questions. Vertical farming, there was one question. Eco-friendly agriculture methods. Vertical farming is here also, there also. Okay, I confirmed that question based on this option only. Biochar can be used as a growing medium in vertical farming. It it promotes the growth of nitrogen fixing microorganism. When it is a path of growing medium, it enables the growing medium to retain water for very long time. Okay, that's very true. So what happens? It increases the humus content in the soil. When humus content is high, the water will have high water holding capacity. Humus is nothing but the organic content in the soil. Okay, so all the above statement is right. In India, which of the following can be considered as public investment? Public investment. Investment means you have to invest money. Okay, so you are investing in something. Public investment in agriculture. See here, waiver of agricultural loans by banking system. Here in this banking system, what happens is that scheduled commercial banks or government public banks, public sector banks, everybody give loans. Number one. Waiving of loan is not called as an investment. It's like you have given loan already. You have an asset, that is loans or assets of banks. So what happens is that you are waiving that, which means you are removing an asset. So when you are removing an asset, you cannot call it as an investment. So you are eliminating the fifth option alone, you get the answer. Okay, so you need not think about anything. Just see here. Fifth option is there in all the three. Only one option, fifth option is not there. So you're giving loan to someone and you're cancelling that loan. Because of cancelling that loan, do you think you will get anything back? No, it's a loss. Clear? So that you cannot call it as an investment. An investment is something you are investing so that you expect some return. Computerization of primary agricultural credit society will give us a return. What is that return? Which is the work timing will reduce, the work efficiency will increase. Right. Social capital development. Social capital development is like awareness creation or skilled individuals. These all we call it as social capital. Social capital investmentals also will help us. And then and then we call it as setting up of cold storage facilities by the government. Yes. So when we set up the cold storage facilities, what happened? Whatever is the agricultural produce, so it will not get rotten or it will not get wasted. We can store it. When the storage is increasing, the loss will be reduced. So this is also a kind of investment. So all these three things will give you some kind of output, but the other things, you cannot expect anything like that. So that is what is this answer 2, 3, 5, 6. Especially by eliminating the fifth option, you're getting the answer here. You are giving loan to someone, you are cancelling the loan. Here you get loss and it is not an investment. Keep that in mind. Okay, next. Interest coverage ratio. So you should know what is interest coverage ratio. Interest coverage ratio is how much the bank is covering the interest it has to pay. Simply I'm telling you the basic thing, I'm telling you that you can even understand from the question. Interest coverage ratio, how much interest I'm covering, that is the interest coverage ratio. From this interest coverage ratio, think one thing in mind. You are giving loan to someone. What will you see? Number one, will you see is he capable of giving loan back? That is, he is earning or not. Okay, you are giving loan to someone 1,000 rupees. He should have a minimum of 10,000 rupees of monthly earning so that he can give you back your 1,000 rupees. That you will see. Next is you will see his previous history. Has he got loan from anyone? Has he given to people? From this loan history alone, you can find out two things. One is there risk? Now should I give loan or not? Or in future I can give loan or not? That's the first two statements. It helps in understanding the present risk of the firm and emerging risk. This is present and future. That's all. The interest coverage ratio, the bank will determine the present and future risk. The first two statements are right. But third statement, if you see, the higher the borrowing firm's lowest interest coverage ratio, what did I tell? How much how much that company is covering the interest. In that thing, if the interest coverage ratio is high, the risk is less, which means the company will pay back the interest properly. But here they are telling you worse. They are giving you the vice versa. They are giving the opposite. So you are eliminating the third option, you get the answer 1 and 2 only. First is right and second is right. The present you can predict and future also you can predict. But the third statement is wrong. It is completely against the concept, the opposite of concept they have given. The answer is 1 and 2 only. Okay, next. Which are the following factors or policies were affecting the price of rice? Actually, all the above. Minimum support price. So MSP will control the fluctuations. So which is impacting the price. Government's trading. If government is getting the rice and it is trading, it will impact. Government stockpiling. So when the stockpiling takes place, demand increases and the price might increase. Consumer subsidies. So what happens? Subsidies means, so there is a price for a product. Subsidy is that the government will not give it to the people. The government will bear the weight of that price. So instead of 100 rupees, the government will give 20 rupees to the manufacturer or the seller. So we get the rice for 80 rupees. So this is also impacting the price. So all the above is answered. It's a basic question. These kind of questions, if you are just thinking, you will get the answer. Minimum support price, government trading, government stockpiling, consumer subsidies, everything will have an impact on the price. Okay, it can be rice or anything, rice or any product, these will be the answer. The value of Indo-Sri Lanka trade has consistently increased in the last decade. Textile and textile articles constitute this is from economic survey, okay, and international relations. In this question, see this, in last 5 years, Nepal has been the largest trading partner. Actually, Indonesia, 1 year Indonesia will be there. The other year it can change. It's not like 5 years one single country cannot be there. Number one. Number two is that now after this Madheshi incident, the relationship with India and Nepal is not that strong as before. Nepal is now inclining towards China. So you should keep that in mind. Many India-Nepal relationship when trade is also shifting towards China. If you know these two things, number one is the basic concept. Basic concept is that Indonesia, you can know the fact, not no problem, leave it. Now two is that you should know that in 5 years it's not that single country. Very rarely it happens. Unless and until you study it somewhere, you cannot go for these kind of statements. And the third one is, if you know the international relations, if you know the international affairs, after this Madheshi incident, the Nepal is inclined towards China. So there is a high possibility that this statement is wrong. So if you are eliminating the third statement, you will get the answer. Okay, next. In which one of the following groups are all four country members of G20? It's a fact again. Argentina, Mexico, South Africa, and Turkey. It's a fact. In G20, what are all the countries in that they have given here? Okay. Under the Kisan Credit Scheme, short-term credit support is given to farmers for which are the following purposes? All these. Kisan Credit Scheme, credit card scheme. Okay, in this Kisan credit card scheme, the Kisan is nothing but farmers. They will be given a a credit card. From that they can withdraw some money, basic money. For that, for what they can use is they can use it for everything actually. Okay, so that is the answer here. Consider following statement. See, weightage of food in consumer price India is higher than the wholesale price in India. True. In consumer price, the food weightage is very high compared to the wholesale price. WPI does not capture the changes in prices of services and CPI does. True. In terms of WPI wholesale price index, we calculate goods and not services. Okay. Here, this thing is wrong because RBI has actually adopted CPI instead of WPI because in wholesale price index, sometimes double counting of goods take place. Double counting of goods take place sometimes, or sometimes missing of goods also take place. Fine. And here we are not able to calculate services also. So RBI have recently adopted CPI instead of WPI. This thing is a basic thing. If you know this, you can come to the conclusion. Okay. So this is a basic thing that initially we were using wholesale price index only. But in the wholesale price index, what happens? Sometimes double counting of same goods take place. How? I'll tell you. There is a producer and there is a middleman 1, middleman 2, and then there is the consumer. So in wholesale price index, you are only calculating in the consumer side. consumer price index, you are only calculating on the consumer sides. But in terms of wholesale price index, a same product is calculated here also, here also. So what happens? The same product is calculated twice. So the wholesale price index is higher, compared to the sometimes higher or sometimes very much lower. It has discrepancies which do not give us the proper data we needed. That is why the RBI now has gone to the consumer price index instead of wholesale price index. Okay, so the answer is 1 and 2 only. If you know that, you can write the answer here. So river flowing here, Mekong, Andaman Sea, Thames, Irish Sea. See, Andaman Sea we know where it is. Okay, so Mekong is this side. It is going through Myanmar, all these. So the first statement is wrong. If you are eliminating the first statement, you can get 3 only or 3 and 4 only. The answer is 3 and 4 only. Zambezi is from this Africa side. It is flowing through Indian Ocean. Okay, next. In case of all cereals, see the statement, very interesting. In case of all cereals, pulses and oil seeds, the procurement of minimum support prices unlimited in any state. See, three extreme statements, three extreme words. In case of cereals and pulses, the MSP is fixed in any state at a level to which market price will never rise. See, is this even possible? See, you can control it or you can regulate it, but it will never rise, you cannot say. The second statement is completely wrong. First statement, all cereals, pulses, oil seeds, procurement of minimum support prices unlimited in any state. This is totally extreme, which is not at all possible. You don't know, you don't even think about the data. Don't think that what are all the minimum support price given, what are the pulses which is getting minimum support price. Don't think about all these things. This is a basic thing. If you see the question itself, you can find the answer that they're all very extreme and they're all not even relevant to the governance. Fine. Next, Indian economy consists the following. See here, certificate of deposit zero coupon. They have just interchanged the definitions. That's all simple. Certificate of usually the zero coupon kind of bonds can be issued by RBI or any public related companies. Certificate of deposits can be issued by any scheduled banks. Fine. So they have just interchanged this and you get the answer as both 1 and 3 as the answer. Okay, 1 and 3 only as the answer. Okay, yes. With reference to foreign direct investment in India, which of the following is considered its major characteristics? See here, they're asking you, they're not asking you what are its characteristics, they're asking you the major characteristics. The major characteristics of foreign direct investment is FDI is, it's a largely non-debt creating capital flow. Inflow of capital is the major foreign direct investment. It's a largely non-debt creating capital flow. Okay, so we are not borrowing money here. A foreign company or a foreigner is investing in the Indian companies. Okay, it's not as a debt but as a capital. That is what is given here. Okay, next. With reference to international trade of India at present, which of the following statement is or are correct? Here you should see one statement. Only one statement. If you see, you get the answer. The import of iron and steel, chemicals, fertilizers, machineries have decreased in recent years. We know very well India is not a manufacturing sector company. We are now in Make in India program, we are creating companies, industries are all fine. But iron and steel, chemicals, fertilizers, machineries, these are all the major things we are importing. Majorly we are importing all these things. These cannot decrease in the recent year, not possible. If you are eliminating that alone, you get the answer 1, 3 and 4 only. First, India's merchandise exports are lesser than the merchandise imports. That is the general thing. Okay, the country we have, and you see the fourth option, if trade and current account deficit is less, means we have less exports and high imports. India's exports of services are more than its import of services is true, because more than 70% of GDP is given by the service sector only. That is very true. Okay, in terms of service sector, we are doing more exports than imports, but in terms of merchandise, we are doing high exports compared to the high imports compared to the exports. So the answer is 1, 3 and 4 only. The statement, second statement, don't confuse, it's a general basic statement, it's a concept based statement. If you just see itself, you can understand. Iron and steel, chemicals, fertilizers, machineries are the basic things we are importing in a higher manner. Okay, yes. West Texas Intermediate, crude oil, it's a current affair concept, it's a current affair. West Texas Intermediate is the grade of crude oil, it is the grading method of crude oil. Okay. In context of Indian economy, non-financial debt includes all the above: housing loans owned by households, amounts outstanding on credit cards, treasury bills. All these three are non-financial debt. Debt means a loan. Okay. IAEA safeguards, International Atomic Energy Agency. See here, why some nuclear reactors have IAEA safeguards, some don't. See here how to come to the answer. This IAEA safeguard is not related to the material used. I mean, what material it is used. So first statement you can eliminate. Some are operated by foreign enterprises and other are operated by domestic enterprises. Whoever the enterprise is operating, you need to get IAEA safeguards when you are importing uranium and not using domestic supplies. Using the domestic supplies, you need not get IAEA safeguards. But in terms of uranium, imported uranium, you should get International Atomic Energy Agency safeguard. Some are state owned and privately owned. No, it's not that also. The answer is some use imported uranium and other use domestic supply. This IAEA is a part of UNO. Just go and study about this. Very important. Okay, energy based question. Trade related investment measures. So answer is 1 and 3 only. Quantitative restrictions on imports by foreign investors are prohibited. Quantitative restrictions, okay, they apply to investment measures related to trade in both goods and services. No, the TRIMS measurement is only related to goods. So if you are knowing that only, okay, what is TRIMS? Trade related investment measures. If you know that they deal with goods only and not services alone, you can eliminate the second option, you can come to the conclusion. Okay, yes. If RBI decides to adopt an expansionist, see, expansionist means they are increasing the money flow. Keep that in mind. What is expansionist? Increase money flow in the market. They are increasing the money flow in market. What they should not do, that is to increase the money flow in the market, what all they should not do. Here, cut and optimize the statutory liquidity ratio. Fine. See, statutory liquidity ratio is the ratio that ratio which is related to the amount of money which is in the flow and amount of money that is kept within the bank. Okay, with bank or RBI. So the statutory liquidity ratio you should cut down, that is reduce, so that the money starts flowing out. So they will do this. They will do this. Increase the marginal standing facility rate. See, marginal standing facility rate, if you are increasing, the amount will start staying inside, will not flow outside. This bank will not do. Next is, always keep one thing in mind. When inflation takes place, RBI does one thing: increasing the repo rate, increasing the reverse repo rate. Both are increased. Keep this in mind. So if you have to increase the flow of money, opposite should be done. Reduce the repo rate and reduce. That is what they are giving. Cut means reduce. Cut the bank rate and repo rate. This also RBI will do. This increase. See, RBI should cut down, reduce to increase the money flow. These are all the methods to control the money flow, to reduce the, these are all like monetary policy related concepts which RBI will do to control the flow of money. Why to control the flow of money? When the flow of money is controlled, when there is very less liquid cash, the usage will be less. When the people are having less money in their hand, they won't spend much. When they don't spend much, what happens? The demand for products will reduce. When the demand reduces, inflation will reduce. That is the cycle. This is how the basic monetary policy works. Now, if RBI wants to expand it, they will cut down, they will reduce all these rates. Here the second statement is increase the marginal standing facility. Obviously the answer that only RBI will not do. Okay, next. With reference to Indian economy, after the 1991 economic liberalization, consider the following. See, this is a general thing. They are not giving you a specific year. After 1991, what happened? So here they are talking about 1991 to 2020. Actually, they are talking about all these things. So, with reference to Indian economy after the 1991 economic liberalization, consider the following statement. Worker productivity increased in the urban areas while it decreased in the rural areas. You cannot tell that. That too, 2004 to 2005 prices they are telling you. You cannot tell that. The percentage share of rural areas in the workplace steadily increased. Again, an extreme statement. In terms of economics, you cannot tell the steadily increased, steadily decreased, constantly increased. No. In rural areas, growth in non-farm economy increased. True. Instead of just farming, since after this liberalization, what happened? People started going to non-farm based, investments. So that is true. Some industries came, and then instead of farming or farming related concept, people started going for other kind of investments. Okay, that is true. The growth rate in rural employment decreased. So growth rate in rural employment decreased because migration took place, urbanization, industrialization, all these concepts took place. So what happened is that the growth rate in the rural employment decreased. Okay, the third and fourth statement is only right. First and second statement you cannot tell, you cannot predict. Okay, so these two statements are not right according to the Indian economic concept. Okay, next. In terms of short-term credit delivery to agricultural sector, district central cooperative banks deliver more credit in comparison to the scheduled commercial banks and rural banks. One of the most important functions of district central cooperative banks is to provide fund to primary agricultural credit society. Both are right. Okay, it's a basic concept related to district central cooperative banks. Their primary function itself to give primary agricultural credit to the people. So obviously they would have given more short-term credit delivery compared to the other banks, scheduled commercial banks or RRBs. Okay, next. In India, under cyber insurance for individuals, which of the following benefits are generally covered in addition to the payment for the loss of funds and other benefits? So in addition to payment for loss of funds and other benefits, what are covered? Cost of restoration of computer, cost of hiring a specialist consultant, cost of defense in the court of law if any third party files a suit. Cost of a new computer is hardware related concept. So restoration of computer system in case of malware disrupting access to one computer is true. But this purchasing a new computer, if some miscreant willfully damages it, that is what you should see. See, if I'm willfully damaging it and some miscreant is willfully damaging it and you are getting a new computer, that won't come under this insurance. This insurance covers related to cyber security, and this is related to the software kind of concept, not hardware kind of concept. So here the answer is 1, 3 and 4 only. Okay, next. Fine. So this is what is about. We have discussed 100 questions. So don't worry. So we will even more discuss this in detailed format in future. Tomorrow we are starting the mains discussions. Okay, mains. First of all, I'll tell you how to prepare for mains. Very important. Keep one thing in guys, one thing in mind people. You are clearing this year or you are not getting the data, or you are giving your attempt next year in 2021, 2022, whatever it is. Now start preparing for mains, which is the right time. Okay, so you should complete the cycle. Many people I know are not completing the cycle. They keep preparing for prelims alone again and again, thinking that okay, this time I won't clear, next time when I clear the prelims I will go for the mains preparation. That won't work. You should start from now, and most importantly, the people who are clearing this year, don't think that I am going to study for 1 month and I'm going to study for 1 month and I'm going to write for 2 months. No, start from today the writing practice. Start writing whatever data you have in mind. Are you writing it in the paper, or are you missing the data? Is the speed correct? Is the handwriting good? Is the presentation right? There are many rules and regulation in terms of mains answer writing and mains preparation. So what we will do is, Tomorrow we will have a special session on how to prepare for mains and what are all the important things that has to be kept in mind during the mains writing, answer writing. Fine. These two things we will see. After seeing this, what we will do, I will give you two information related to two important papers. Number one is essay. What are all the important things you should keep it in mind when you are approaching essay? Essay is like 250 marks, that is 125 plus 125, that is one question alone will fetch you 125 marks, the other question will fetch you 125 marks. That much important is this. Okay, yes, I will continue environment ecology also, don't worry. Okay, that much important it is. So in that situation you should be very aware of how to approach essay. People are thinking like I can just go and write it, I know many concepts. That won't work. For essay you have proper methods and proper rules and regulations. Same to essay we will discuss, I mean same to ethics we will discuss case studies. These two are the major things. After doing all these three things, we will go to the further preparation. Fine. Yes, Asutosh has asked me, ma'am, handwriting matters in mains. See, handwriting will matter in mains, but how will it matter is about the legibility, not about the beauty. Keep that in mind. So what you are going to do is you are going to write your letters in equal size with proper space and legible. C should look like C, D should look like D, B should look like B. Instead, if you are like overly writing cursive, it won't work. So your answer should be legible. When you look your answer sheet, it should be neat. It's not about beauty, it should be neat. Keep this word. The difference between beauty and neat is what important. Here they expect you a neat paper, not a beautiful paper. Fine, you can practice it. Don't worry. How? Use the four rule note separately. Start practicing the same size of letters, proper spacings, and then write it in a straight line. Some people have the slanting line kind of answer writing. If you have slanting line kind of answer writing, keep the ruled sheet behind your white sheets and start writing. So after 1 or 2 weeks, you will start holding the grip of writing it in the straight line. Okay, so I will give you more information related to this, don't worry. So related to presentation means preparation and presentation. Both the things we'll discuss tomorrow. Okay, clear? So don't worry, mains preparation and mains answer writing, if you understand that first, you can do it really well. Okay, so thank you so much. Keep one thing in mind, there is going to be a price hike very soon. So use my code SUBA for both iconic and plus. Please do concentrate on please do think about subscribing because you have a no cost EMI also. So my code is SUBA. Especially when you're preparing for the mains or next year prelims, use this code SUBA. You will get a 10% of discount. For 12 months and 24 months, you also have no cost EMI. EMI is also present. So please think about it. So start preparing properly. Okay, sincerity and consistency is very important here, and don't feel low even if you are not clearing. This is not one time examination, or this is not like one normal examination. This examination needs more understanding and proper time investment. Clear? Thank you so much. All the best. We'll meet again tomorrow with a very beautiful session related to mains preparation. See you all again. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.